be here. Absolutely.
Yes, we are ending the year right.
Yes,
I love it. Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. And yeah, so we have you here. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
we were just talking about it. You look like you had such a great time.
I did. For anybody who follows me on Instagram at Miss Selena Hill, you probably saw like some of the pictures. Like my photographer did a great job in like capturing like the best moments. So it was a good time.
And the candid photos are always the best photos.
Yeah, he has so many good candids.
But not only the photos, you were getting down on the dance floor, girl. I was like, yes, look at Selena.
I was. It was fun. It was so fun.
And shout out to John Quick because he does the brunch, right?
Yes. DJ John Quick, like that's my fave. So he set me up. Like we were at Cove Lounge. Everything was taken care of. Like he was great that night. We had a good time. Yeah, he's such a great guy. Shout out to him. Yes. So let's talk about, before we go into Selena Hill, journalism, all of that, let's talk about Haiti and the trip you just did. How was that? Yeah, so I just got back from Haiti like a few weeks ago. It was an amazing experience. So like I've done different press trips, but this one was really special because I flew out there with a group of, I think it was 8 other influencers. And we went to Haiti, and the purpose was to show the world the beauty of Haiti. Because every time we think of Haiti or we see it portrayed in the media, it's always something very negative, whether it's an earthquake or violence or protests. That's the only time Haiti's making the news. So this woman, her name is Wanda, she's doing a phenomenal job on the ground in Haiti, and she coordinated this trip with her organization, which is El Union Suite. And basically what she did was she wanted people to come and just really just capture the beauty through Instagram, through like, you know, whatever social media platform you're on. So when I was there, I was like, well, you know, I'm a journalist, I'm a writer, I have to write about this. So I wrote a story about her journey from not, like she grew up in like Florida, and she wasn't always proud to be Haitian. No, she talked about that. She was like, you know, as a young girl, it was stigmatized and she shied away from it. But now she's literally carrying that country on her back. Like she's doing such a phenomenal job as probably an unofficial ambassador. And she wanted other young people in particular to know, like, come to Haiti, you know, you don't always, you know, everybody's, I know the big thing is going to South Africa or Europe or Cuba, but she's like, you know, we want to put Haiti on the map too, because there's a lot of beauty, history, and culture to share. Yes. Oh my God, that's so wonderful. So what are some of the things that you guys were doing while you were out there? Were you doing anything like with the locals and stuff like that? Yes, we did have some. We were able to interact with some of the locals there. We went to some of like the hotspot restaurants where there were a lot of locals there. We went to Lolo's and the other restaurant. It slips my mind. But we actually, what they wanted to show was like not just working there, but like vacationing there too, right? So, but one of the things we did that was really, I think, special was we went to this school. It was a private Catholic school and Cap Haitian, and the children there, the students were so loving, so warm. Like they were literally hugging us and like kissing us and like telling us how much they love us. And we're like, oh my God, you serious? Like they had this whole presentation for us. So we had a chance to speak to them. Like it felt like they were giving us something. Wow. But we had a chance to really speak to them. And I guess like being able, and some of them didn't even speak English. A lot of them did. But being able to see them, like, you know, really representing for like the beauty of Haiti and how positive and like they had great energy. Like I think that was probably one of the best experiences I had there with the locals. Oh, wow. That's amazing. So speaking of like, you know, bringing awareness to Haiti and having vacationers there, how's the economy there now? It's still, I would say, struggling, and it's a certain degree, but that's why they want to do more work and like builds it up, because certain parts, like everything, like if you go to the Bronx, you go to Queens, there's the good parts, there's the bad parts, right? So that same experience exists there, right? It's a regular Caribbean island. So, you know, there's certain areas that you probably don't want to go to, especially if you're not familiar, but there's certain areas that you would love, like the we stayed in Cape Haitian, which is in the northern part. It's very different from Port-au-Prince. So everybody thinks Haiti, you think Port-au-Prince, but you can go to Cape Haitian and have a beautiful experience. And then they had like this private island beach. It's called Labadee. And it was so beautiful. Like, we're on this island, the water was clear and crisp, the sand was white, and we had local fishermen literally go get us, like, go catch food and like cook it for us on the beach. And I'm just like, it was so good. They cooked conch, but I'm forgetting the Haitian term in Creole. It's not called conch, but like, and I'm American, so we call it conch. They cooked that. They had like this huge red snapper, these huge crabs. It was so good.
Yeah, that's what I love about visiting the islands. I know when I went to Cuba, they kind of did that for us too. Yeah, and actually, I mean, I don't want to bash the food in Cuba, but that was one of the best dishes that I had, was the one on the beach with the fish and the rice and everything. So wow, what a great experience, though. That's so awesome. So let's get out to Haiti, people. Let's get out to Haiti and support Haiti. So let's get into Selena Hill and her background and everything. Tell us, like, what got you into journalism and, you know, all the exciting things you're working on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you mentioned, I work at Black Enterprise now. I'm the digital editor, where I do writing. I cover stories in the area and around the country, and I do a lot of video work. And it's funny because I really didn't land a full-time job in media, in journalism, until I started working at Black Enterprise. And that was like 2 years ago. So like for the majority of my career, I was like freelancing or doing contractual work. So, but to scale it all the way back, the way I got into journalism, I would say it started off with a passion for me. In high school is when I realized I loved to write. And not only did I love to write, but I really wanted to speak out against like poverty and things that I felt were hurting certain groups of people.
Yes, you wanted to advocate.
I wanted to advocate. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And in college, that's when I discovered that I wanted to be, it's so funny. So Kevin in 950 Lounge is outside making faces. That's why I'm like losing my train of thought, but they're outside.
Shout out to 950 Lounge.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so in college, that's when I discovered journalism, because I majored in media and communications. I went to SUNY Westbury on Long Island, which is a state school, great campus. And while I was there, you know, I started to write for the newspaper. I started my radio show. And one of the things that really changed my life and made me want to commit to journalism was when I had a chance to visit New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina hit. So my participation in the Hurricane Katrina Relief Fund in 2006 and 2007 solidified that I want to use my voice, my God-given talent, to be a voice for the voiceless. Because I saw how these people, I saw firsthand-handedly how these people in the Lower Ninth Ward were being neglected. Like, you would think the hurricane hit the day before we got there. And it was years. But then you go to French Quarter, where the tourists are, and where the people are who don't look like us, it looked like it was nothing.
Like nothing.
Nothing
like
at
it wasn't
all.
affected.
It looked like it wasn't affected. So when I was there, I was just so emotional. And I was like, what I want to do for the rest of my life is, like, either go meet new people and like share their stories and make sure that they're being heard and they have, you know, the right advocacy behind them.
That's amazing. I love that. I really, really love that. So I know you mentioned before landing Black Enterprise, you were freelancing. So are there struggles when you become a journalist with landing a job? Like, do you have to freelance for a little while before you get solidified?
For me, yes. And for a lot of people that I know, it's really challenging getting into media and journalism right now, just the landscape of it. You know, the money isn't really in the industry like that anymore. And to me, I think society doesn't really value the work of journalists. So because of those reasons and factors, it's really hard, or at least it was for me, hard to find a full-time job with benefits. And for a lot of my friends, by the way, as well. So, you know, you end up, like what I did, I worked for a number of some independent outlets. I also worked for bigger outlets as well. But, you know, it was a battle. Like, you know, I landed a job, didn't, you know, I was like, go, or I worked
it was
for
like project-based
or like I had one job, I was working for like 3 years as a freelancer, and the money just stopped. Like, they stopped paying us after a while.
Wow.
Yeah, like, it was a independent media startup, and the checks that stopped coming. So, you know, I've had all of those different types of experiences that really led me up to where I am now and what I do now.
Do you think it's because it's like a really major competitive market? Like, there's a lot of, you know, people in that career of journalism right now? Do you think that's probably like one of the reasons why the resources aren't there?
I think it's just I think because like technology was such a disruptor, and it changed like the print industry. It's changed the magazines, it changed radio. And I think that a lot of these older traditional outlets haven't become well adjusted. So, you know, 10, 20 years ago, they had so many ad dollars going towards different outlets and different forms of media. But then when social media came and technology came, sponsors and advertisers stopped spending their money with a lot of traditional media outlets. So because they lost those ad dollars, the industry itself has been folding. Like, we've seen like Teen Vogue, they stopped printing magazines. I think it was another one, I think it was a Cosmo, I forget the other magazine, but they stopped printing magazines.
So
and you see newspapers, they're stopping. Like, you know, it's because they don't have the ad dollars and the sponsorship. And if you don't have that, then it's hard to pay journalists, and it's hard to, and especially if you're a journalist with some prestige or you're seasoned and you demand a certain salary, they can't really afford that. And that goes to the same thing with TV broadcasting. Like, I know anchors who are like, who told me 10 years ago, do not become a TV anchor because this industry is dying. Don't even do it. And I'm like, really? And they were right.
Yeah, I mean, is that social media is a free advertisement platform, you know, so it makes it difficult. Yeah, wow. Well, I know you also have a radio show podcast, right? Let Your Voice Be Heard, which kind of goes hand in hand with you know, bringing a voice to the voiceless. I love that. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we it's Let Your Voice Be Heard. We record every Sunday at WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And our show is dedicated to politics, social issues, and pop culture. And we do that from a diverse millennial perspective. So I have two other co-hosts who are very different from me. Like, one, my co-host Stanley Fritz, and I have a co-host, Alyssa Fuchs, and our correspondent, Jackie Cohen. And if you watch the show and you look at us, you can tell we're very, very different. We all have, you know, different backgrounds. Some of us have different ethnicities. Some of us have different sexual orientations and identities. So, you know, when we come together as a collective and we're talking about these news stories, whether it's something bizarre that Kanye West did or Donald Trump, like you were talking about the border, the crisis at the border. We cover that a number of times, but what we do is we talk about it from our own personal perspectives. Like, you know, I'm a black woman, and a lot of women, especially women of color, they'll say things like, you know, I really relate to you. Whereas, like, Stanley, like, he's loud, he's smart, and he's funny. Like, you know, he always reminds me of, like, Charlemagne, but he's, like, that type of person. And then, like, Alyssa Fuchs, she's a queer civil rights lawyer who happens to be Jewish. You know, she has a totally different perspective on things. And then Jackie Cohen as well, so... I mean, I love it.
That's so cool. Because people need to hear, you know, people need to hear us have these conversations from different perspectives. Like you said, people relate to you because you're a black woman. You know, I kind of feel the same way as a Latina woman. You know, people want to hear your perspective from, you know, just where you come from, your background and everything, because we all come from different places, and we're here in America now dealing with all of these issues, right? So I think it's a great thing. How do you, tell us, how do you deal with the dynamic of the different personalities on the show?
It's so funny because they always call me like the Barbara Walters of the show, because I'm like mostly like moderating and navigating. I mean, I guess because we've been doing it so long, it's easier